did you start on this journey to become an educator? Was it influence from an inspirational teacher that you had in elementary school and you want to mimic that for other children just as he or she did for you? Was it encouragement from a parent already in the field and they encouraged and pushed you to attend college in education? Or was this a career change for you later in life, going back to school and becoming a teacher? We all started differently in this field of teaching, and we bring that to the table as our unique story. These stories are our motivation. Today, we have a special guest with us that will share about the different types of motivation for our students and how this can affect their learning journey. Let me introduce to you Professor Liu, an expert in the field of second language acquisition and teaching. He is the Chief Academic Officer for VIPKid International and the President of the VIPKid Research Institute. Please help me welcome Professor Liu.
Motivation and learning. We all understand motivation is very important in learning. We want to engage our learners in learning. We need to incentivize them. We need to keep them engaged, and that is motivation. But sometimes the motivation comes from within. It is called innate drive, because kids want to learn. They know that speaking gives them a great sense of satisfaction. But sometimes they are unwilling to learn. You know those kids because their parents want them to learn. So they are only learning to satisfy, to please their parents. And that motivation comes from outside, extrinsic motivation. Another theory called instrumental motivation versus integrative motivation. Kids want to learn because they want to get good grades, but they don't care what they want to do with what they learn. But sometimes kids want to learn because they have an ultimate goal in the future. They want to accomplish that. And that is called integrative motivation. Lots of Chinese students, when they come to the United States, to colleges or high schools, and their parents want them to be successful. So they really invested in their kids to be successful in the future by not only going through high school, but also undergraduate, graduate school as well. So that becomes integrative motivation. But if they only want to do something, take a test to pass the entrance examination, and that is instrumental. Instrumental can be done within a short period of time, but integrative is a long term. So as teachers, we should always inspire our learners to have integrative motivation to learn English. And the last thing about motivation is, do you believe if students are motivated, they will learn well? So learning outcome ultimately is determined not by motivation only. Motivation is a starting point, is the engagement of learning. The actual learning takes place by looking at other dimensions, whether they're learned correctly, whether this is the most efficient way of learning, whether they spend time pre-class and after class to preview and review what they have learned, whether they seek opportunities to practice whenever they can, whether they engage the conversation not only with teachers online, but also with other kids in the neighborhood, and they want to speak English with. So all these kind of things will lead to learning outcome. And motivation is just the condition. Important, but not the only thing.
Thank you so much, Professor, for sharing your wisdom with us. I value this quote from him. Motivation is just the condition. Important, but not the only thing. Why you started this journey to become a teacher was pivotal in your life. However, why did you continue learning? Was it solely that motivation you began with, or did you get some encouragement along the way? In-person learning allows you to see the needs of your students firsthand in your classroom. However, with distance learning, we may need to find ways as teachers to support our students along the way. Check in with your learners frequently and encourage them to complete those out-of-class assignments. Find ways to continue building that rapport with your students. You can't just greet your student as they walk through the door and see that sad look on their face when maybe they've had a tough day. So you have to be intentional about asking the questions about how your student is. Also, offer different avenues of ways that the student can ask questions when they need help with their assignments or if they need support elsewhere. Know that you can empower your students to continue learning and to be successful. So keep up the great work inspiring your learners.